was past midnight when Amina and Zola left their office building. The city lights of Louisiana faded behind them as they drove toward home, tired after another long shift. "Let's take the highway," Amina said quietly. Zola shook her head. "No way. That'll take forever. There's a shortcut through Hollow Creek Road. We'll be home in 20 minutes. Amina hesitated. "That road goes past the old cemetery, right?" Zola smirked. "You're still scared of stories? Relax. It's just a road." Amina didn't argue again, but her hands tightened in her lap as the car turned onto a narrow, broken path surrounded by trees. The street lights disappeared. Darkness swallowed everything. For a while, there was only the sound of the engine and the crunch of gravel under the tires. Then suddenly the car stopped. Zola frowned. "What the hell?" The engine had died. Amina's voice trembled. "Why did it stop?" "I don't know. Stay here," Zola said, stepping out of the car. The night felt unnaturally quiet. No insects, no wind, nothing. Amina looked out the window. The trees stood still like shadows frozen in place. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Coming from the side of the road. "Amina! Don't mess with me," Zola called out as she checked the hood. "I'm not," Amina whispered. "There's someone there." The bushes shifted slightly. Both of them froze. "Is someone there?" Zola shouted. No answer. But the footsteps stopped. Zola quickly got back into the car and turned the key again. This time, the engine started immediately. "Let's go," she said, her voice no longer confident. They drove off without looking back. But Amina kept staring through the rear window. For a brief second, she saw something. A figure standing in the middle of the road. Tall. Still. Watching them. That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the figure. At some point, she drifted off. Then suddenly, she woke up screaming. Her hands were covered in dirt. Cold, wet dirt. She jumped out of bed, her heart pounding. "This isn't real. This isn't real." The door to her room slowly creaked open. She stared at it. "Mom!" No answer. The door opened wider. Amina slowly stepped back. Then something grabbed her ankle. Hard. She was pulled to the floor with a violent force. She screamed as her nails scraped against the floor, trying to hold on to something. Her parents rushed into the room and turned on the lights. Amina was lying on the floor, shaking uncontrollably. "What happened?" her mother asked. "There's something under the bed," Amina cried. Her father checked. There was nothing there. The next morning, her parents left early for work, telling her to rest. Amina sat alone in the house, trying to calm herself. Her phone rang. She picked it up. "Hello." There was silence. Then a whisper. "I'm still here." The call ended. Amina stared at the phone, her hands shaking. Moments later, it rang again. This time, the voice sounded familiar. It sounded like her own. "I'm still here," it repeated. Amina dropped the phone. She immediately called Zola. "Please come over. Something's wrong," she said, her voice breaking. Zola arrived within half an hour. As she walked up to the house, she stopped. She looked back. For a moment, she thought she saw someone standing near the gate. A man. But when she blinked, he was gone. Inside, she found Amina sitting in the corner of the room, hugging her knees. "You okay?" Zola asked, trying to sound calm. Amina didn't respond. Zola walked closer. "Amina?" Still nothing. She placed a hand on her shoulder. Amina slowly lifted her head. Zola stepped back in horror. Her face was pale. Her eyes looked empty. And then she smiled. It wasn't a normal smile. It stretched too wide. "You shouldn't have stopped," Amina said. But the voice wasn't hers. Zola stumbled back. "Amina, stop this. You saw me," the voice continued. "Now you will carry me." Zola ran out of the house, shaking, and called Amina's parents. When they returned, Amina was lying on her bed, unconscious. Later, when she woke up, she looked confused. She didn't remember anything. But when they asked about that night on Hollow Creek Road, her expression changed. "There was a fire," she said slowly. What fire? Her father asked. In the cemetery. A body was burning. But no one was there. Zola looked at her. Why didn't you tell me that before? I didn't think it mattered, Amina whispered. I felt bad for it. I said, I hoped it finds peace. The room fell silent. That evening, they brought in an old spiritual healer named Kofi. He listened carefully and then said, some spirits don't want peace. They want a body, a voice, a way to exist again. Amina's hands started shaking. What do we do? Her mother asked. We take it back, Kofi said. Where it came from. That night, they returned to Hollow Creek Road. The air felt heavy. The same spot where the car had stopped was right ahead. Kofi began chanting softly. Amina stood near the ground where the fire once burned. Pour this, Kofi said, handing her a small bottle. Her hands trembled as she poured the liquid onto the soil. The wind suddenly picked up. The trees began to shake violently. A low, painful scream echoed through the darkness. Amina dropped to her knees, clutching her head. Don't stop, Kofi shouted. The scream grew louder. I won't leave, a voice cried. Kofi continued chanting. Amina kept pouring until the bottle was empty. Then suddenly, everything stopped. The wind died. The silence returned. Kofi exhaled slowly. It's over. They left the place without saying a word. Days passed. Amina started feeling normal again. The nightmares stopped. The calls stopped. Everything seemed fine. Until one night, she woke up again. Her room was quiet. Her hands felt cold. She slowly looked down. There was dirt under her nails. And then, from the corner of the room, a whisper came. I'm still here. If this story gave you chills, hit like right now. Subscribe to Eerie Narratives for more real horror stories. And comment, I would never take that road if you'd survive this night. Turn on the bell, because your next nightmare is already waiting.